What's up, everybody? So Fox11online.com has posted an article about Convicting a Murderer, the rebuttal series to Netflix's Making a Murderer. I will link it in the description below so you can go have a read for yourself. Now, if you don't have Twitter, if you've never had Twitter, if you're not a Twitter user, I highly recommend you getting Twitter to keep up with Convicting a Murderer and the Making a Murderer news. The comments, the tweets, the information that is flowing over on Twitter right now is unbelievable. Give me a follow at Allegedly Show. I will link it in the description below. I think you will find the information that is coming out over on Twitter to be very interesting. The article states, new series Convicting a Murderer promises to set the record straight on Teresa Halbach's case 18 years later. Next month marks 18 years since Teresa Halbach's disappearance and death. Stephen Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey are both serving life sentences for the young woman's murder. The case gained worldwide attention after the 2015 release of Making a Murderer. A new series on Daily Wire Plus is aimed at setting the record straight about the case. I'm not going to make the same mistake that the filmmakers did. Our strong words coming from conservative political commentator, author, and activist Candace Owens in the trailer for Convicting a Murderer. 6 years in the making, the series is now available on the streaming service Daily Wire Plus. According to the producer, Sean Reck, this is not a political piece of work, which I find extremely interesting considering he sold it to right-wing media outlet Daily Wire Plus and has right-wing commentator activist Candace Owens as the host. I don't care if it's political at all, but how can you say it's not a political piece of work considering who you sold it to? This is not a political piece of work. You're watching a clinical investigation that was painstakingly executed and will take any heat we get if we make any mistakes. The purpose of this series is to fill in the blanks that were left out by Making a Murderer. We decided to tell the whole story and somewhat repair the reputations of the people who were left in the wake of this docuseries that came out in 2015. One of those people is Thomas Fassbender, a retired DCI agent with the state of Wisconsin's Justice Department. Fassbender was one of the main investigators on the Avery Dassey case. While Fassbender knows the juries that found Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey guilty brought justice to Teresa Halbach, he also believes Making a Murderer re-victimized her family and many others. Refusing to stay silent, he's one of the voices in Convicting a Murderer. The reason I wanted to see something or wanted it to happen is for the real victims in this whole case, and that's the Halbachs, and justice for Teresa, said Fassbender. Secondary, all law enforcement agencies and non-law enforcement agencies that came together and did an unbelievable job on this case. It's ludicrous to think that their theory, their narrative, is factual. Fassbender said producers say the 10-part series they've created is factual. It includes interviews with Avery's family. We never imagined we'd have access to, we never imagined we'd be able to film on the Avery salvage yard. We never imagined they'd give us trunks of videos and family photos, and they did. So even they cooperated, said Sean Reck. The series also looks at Avery's extensive criminal history, incidents, and crimes Making a Murderer omitted. Fassbender is hesitant to call it a redemption piece because he doesn't think anyone needs to be redeemed, saying those who worked on the case got convictions and did everything by the book. He just hopes those who bought into the narrative of Making a Murderer will give Convicting a Murderer a chance. My hope is that they'll see this show that shows everything Making a Murderer didn't show, the other side and the truth of the matter, and they'll expose some of those edits that people should find alarming and some of the mistruths spoken the producers about their objectivity, adds Fassbender. So that's the article. What do you think? What do you think of Thomas Fassbender, what he had to say here? He's only been in Convicting a Murderer for a few seconds so far, but I think once they get into the Teresa Halbach part of the docuseries, he will probably be in it a lot more. I'm assuming, maybe not, who knows. So, interesting article. What do you think? What do you think of Thomas Fassbender? What do you think of the first 3 episodes of Convicting a Murderer so far? Let me know. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.